Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. As you guys saw in the last episode, I replaced the brake lines underneath the vehicle and I verified that there was no leaks. So the next step is to bleed the system, and at the same time we're going to be taking a look at the brakes to make sure that everything is okay. I also wanted to mention that there is a few different ways of bleeding your brakes. You can do it with a vacuum, a pump that they sell. You can do it atmospherically by opening all the valves and just letting the fluid come out. And then when you have no more bubbles, you close the system, or you have someone to come and help you. Pump the brakes. When it's hard, you open the valve. You do that a few times until there's no more air in the system. Yeah, and then also there is a sequence. Each make and model have their own different sequences. Some vehicles with ABS systems need the scan tool to hook up to the car to pump and bleed the master cylinder of the ABS brakes. But this car is no ABS, so it's just a basic manual sequence of bleeding the brakes. And I'll leave the sequence for Honda Civic in the description down below. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, so I'm going to start in the furthest wheel from the master cylinder, which is the rear right tire. At the same time, I noticed that my little brake line that comes from the wheel cylinder to the rubber hose is all rusted. So I went ahead and ordered 2 of them, and I'll be replacing them as well. At the same time, I noticed that my drums are all rusted and full of grooves, and it was very hard to remove them. I went ahead and purchased 2 new drums. So we'll be learning how to bleed the system, replacing a little line, and how to replace and adjust your drums. So let's go ahead and let's get this done. All right, so the little brake line that I was talking about is the one that's just right here. It's attached right there, and it's attached over here. I already went ahead and sprayed some WD-40 to help us out. So we're gonna put on our trusty gloves so we don't get our hands all dirty, and we're going to remove it and replace it. And there you have it. So now what you're going to do is just going to open up the bleeder. I also went ahead and put some WD-40 on the bleeder so that I know that it wouldn't break. And we're just going to open it up. And before, I didn't show you guys, but here I'll show you. I put a vice grip on the rubber part so that it would stop the leaking the fluid coming out of the lines while I was working. It's not very tight, it's just gentle because you don't want to pinch it too hard so that you kink the lines. All right, so we're going to open up the bleeder. All right, so the next thing you're going to want to do is I took some brake cleaner and I sprayed the brakes just to clean it up, take all the brake dust off. I also took some 180 sandpaper and I sanded down my lines, just to give it a nice fresh contact onto the drums. I noticed that my lining is at 50%, so they're still pretty good. I'm going to keep them on for now. Now, with the new drum, I also took the 180 sandpaper and sanded it down a little bit, just so that, because sometimes when you purchase the jobber drums, there's like they spray them with like this kind of a chemical so that it doesn't rust while sitting on the shelves. So you just want to scrape that off a little bit, and then afterwards spray everything down with a little bit of brake cleaner. All right, next, when adjusting the drums, you just got to slide it on and just turn it. As you can see here, this is a little bit too loose. What you want is it to have a little bit of a drag. So what you do is you take your flathead screwdriver, you go to your adjustment here, and you give it a couple of clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I usually start with 8. Still, a little loose. Give it another 5. And still a little bit loose. Perfect. So I basically turned it about 22 little clicks. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bleed the system. I'm going to have someone sit, my wife's going to sit in the car. She's going to pump the brake. Once it's a little bit of pressure, I'm going to open the bleeder and let the liquid come out. We're going to do this a couple of times until we have no more air in the system. And here are a few tools that I used to replace the line and adjust the drums and bleed system. An 8mm for the wheel cylinder for the bleeder, a 10mm closed type key for the lines. I used my long nose vice grip to hold the rubber end of the brake lines so that it wouldn't leak, and I had a little trouble with the other older brake line, so I took out my trusty vice grips. I also used a jar with a hose so that I can bleed my system, and I put a little bit of fluid inside so that there wouldn't be air going back into the system. Little tip for you guys. All right, so there you have it. We replaced the line, we verified the brakes, we adjusted the drums, we replaced the drums, and we bled the system. There's no more air on this side. So in this next wheel that we're going to be doing in the sequence will be the front driver's side caliper. And at the same time, we're going to take a look at the calipers, the discs, and the pads to make sure everything is okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, and one thing before we go. As you can see, the drums are a metal color. Leave me a comment down below. What color do you think I should paint them? Leave it this color, paint it silver, black, or red. So again, leave me a comment in the section down below. Let's go ahead and bleed the front. All right, so now we're in the front. We're in the front left wheel. What I did was I went ahead and I removed the caliper to check on my brake pads. On these models, it's the smaller disc. For the Honda Civic DX, you have a 12mm bolt, which is bolted into here, which slides into the sliding pin that's right here. So I removed it. I removed my pads. As you can see, my pads are brand new because I replaced them just before stopping to use the vehicle. And also what I noticed is that one of my sliding bolts is starting to seize up a little bit because of the rust that is accumulating around the rubber sleeve. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to remove the rubber sleeve. I've already removed the sliding bolt, clean out the rust, and put back the rubbers, and then put back the sliding bolt. At the same time, I already put some WD-40 on my bleeder so that it'll be easy for us to bleed the front brakes. So and also I'm going to remove the disc. There's a little bit of surface rust. Just going to sand it down with a little bit of 180 sandpaper and put everything back together. All right. All right, and there you have it. So I sanded everything down, lubricated everything I need to lubricate it, put it all together. Now we're going to just make sure the bleeder opens, and voila, it does. And we're going to bleed the system. A few tools that I used while doing this, I'll just show you right here. is right here. It's my impact screwdriver. I used a hammer, ratchet with a 12mm for the bottom bolt, a 17 for the tube and the brackets in the back, some 180 sandpaper, and some AG3 M3 high grid sandpaper as well. So now we're just going to go ahead and bleed the system. Again, we're going to get my wife to come in. She's going to pump the brakes in the car, and we're going to do the same procedure as we did in the back right. All right. All right, so there we have it. We bled the system. In the front, there wasn't that much air because, like you guys guessed, there was more air coming from the back because the lines were open for such a long time, and there was still some fluid in the reservoir. So I bled the front left wheel. Now we're going to go to the back left wheel, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the front right. So that's basically the sequence. I won't show you guys because, you know, it's just repetition, but that's exactly it. We went from the rear right, front left, rear left, front right. And after that, we're going to go for a road test. All right, so next time we'll be seeing the car on the road. And here's a little sneak peek of the next episode. The job that I'm kind of dreading, but it's going to be very interesting and very rewarding to do. That cross member that was written on the to-do list. This is the cross member. This whole piece here. See how it's bolted to the chassis of the vehicle, and it has the lower control arms that are attached to it, and the rack and pinion as well goes right through it. So we're going to be taking apart all of this to get to that part, lower it down, and yep, we're still looking to purchase a used one somewhere so that we can have this job done. Because on the other side, there's a huge hole that's there. So that's like a little preview for the next thing that we're going to be doing on the to-do list. All right, guys, so there you have it. I showed you guys how to bleed the brakes. We did a brake service on all 4 wheels. We replaced our drums and adjusted our linings in the back. So all that's left to do for this part of the restore is to take a road test. But before that, we're just going to check it off our to-do list. Verified brakes, check. So next step, it will be to change the cross member. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a like and subscribe. And if you follow me on Rumble, please follow me and give me a like as well. So guys, have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.